5 minutes with Sean, maybe 10. We're going to wrap up June today, having some fun, talking about live events. It's not by accident today that I wore my Grateful Dead shirt, because if you think about live events, you think about people who started the live event touring system back in 1965 with the Grateful Dead. And it's resonated with me ever since. 61 years later, the music, the scene, the whole concept of what they did back then to create a business, to be the first ones to go viral by sharing their music for free, making live events what it's about. Their studio albums are fine. Their live albums are out of this world. Why? Because a live event is just something different. Now, I first learned that lesson in 2020, when I couldn't go see live music. I'm a live music nut. I have been in live music for the entirety of my life. I have been able to go to live music, and I love it. I go to it weekly as is, and I'm not a big show guy anymore. I don't go to huge concerts. I'm a small jazz scene guy, but there's still being in a live event, listening to music, feeling the vibe. It's a thing, right? It's a thing. And so recently, a couple of things have come up in my life that have taken me into live events, reminding me why they're so damn important. First of all, I went to my first White Sox baseball game in 7 years. I've been a little disenchanted with my baseball team. I won't bore you with the details, but they sort of lied to us as a fan base, and then they sucked again, and now all of a sudden they're good again. So my dad is a huge Atlanta Braves fan from their time back when they were the Milwaukee Braves in the 60s. And so every time the Braves are in town, we go, and typically it's here in my town in Milwaukee. But they happen to be in Chicago playing the White Sox. So it was me, my brother, my dad, my nephew. It was cool, 4-generation baseball game, always a fun time. And we tailgated, and we did the vibe, right? We put it all together. And just being in the parking lot, you could feel the energy around a baseball team that has been so bad for so long. We're talking about setting a record for the most losses in the history of baseball, which is 130 years old. The 300 losses in 3 seasons. I mean, it's as sad as it gets. Now, fighting for playoffs, being at the top of a division was a huge thing. We were there. The vibe was there. White Sox trail. They get back. They get even. They go into extra innings. They get behind. Then all of a sudden, a rookie, his first game, his first opportunity to have a big hit, and he hits a walk-off home run to beat the best team in baseball at home on his first game. How magical. And I got the goosebumps even reliving it, because again, it reminded me of being in a situation where live event energy could really start to pour off. Recently, in the last week, we put on a social event at our big dealership group here in Wisconsin, Zimrick Automotive, their marketing department. Brianna, Natalie, you killed it, ladies. Really, you were great. This was awesome. They put together a lunch and learn, right? It's like a sip and see, but for car dealers. It was pretty dope and legit. Name tags and a whole thing. Brought the lunch in. Beautiful. We were tasked with putting on the social part of it. So our amazing social lead, Jeff Hunter, was there, and he had a 2-hour presentation of just absolutely killing it, crushing it with details. And being in that room and hearing people and watching the engagement really reminds me of why, as an industry, it's important for us to be in a room together, to learn from each other, to have fun doing so. And that's what was going on. There's a lot of laughing. There's a lot of enjoyment. There's great questions. And like any room, right, there's always people who want to make it about them, right? And so you have to overcome that and deal with that. But it's not the end of the world. When you're a professional, you can deal with that in any room. But this event was specifically cool for me because it was something that my company, normally when things are happening around my company, presentations, it kind of falls to me. It's my responsibility. And this was something that Jeff Hunter took on, and he took as a part of his responsibility. And so from an organizational standpoint, to know that we can trust the people who work with us to do these things and deliver on those messages the same way we would deliver on them, that was kind of a proud dad moment for me, as I'm not a dad in the traditional sense, but my business is my kid, and anything attached to my business makes me smile, like I assume dads smile when things go well. And so that was a moment for me, watching this live event from the background, going, holy shit, this is really cool. This is really a good time. And watching the interaction, hearing the interaction as people walked out, watching the post conversations. This is all great to me. Of course, it's training, right? At some level. So people half the people don't want to be there. That's why you got to try and make this shit fun and have a good time. And we get that. And so that brings me to my last point, which is probably the most important point I'll make today. Live events for industry are normally really big, and things get lost in the muck. And so that's why we created Being Social. And so Being Social, September 22nd, Madison, Wisconsin, Concourse Hotel. BeingSocialAuto.com is where you want to go get your tickets. They are selling. So you want to get served. We've sold out every year. So you want to make sure you be in that room. The education will be great. But here's the thing. Live events, bringing people together. My favorite part of that day is sitting back and watching all the conversations. All the conversations, again, that proud father moment where you sit back and you watch vendor attached to dealer who'd never met each other, or vendor and vendor who never met each other and has dealers who can be helped. Like the interconnectivity, as I talked about on last week's show, it really showcases itself in those moments at that live event, and the energy is palpable. Everyone feels it, right? And yeah, it's my job to set the tone, and sure, I love all that, but it's about all of us working together to do that. You know, we've got speakers, we've got vendor, we've got sponsors, we've got what we call the interlude speaker, which is totally fun. This year it's gonna be awesome. Good friend of mine, Mike Berg from Affinitive, is gonna be doing it, dropping knowledge. But we do things differently than the big shows, right? You don't have to turn over your badge. You don't have to like worry about that. There are no booths, there are no tables, there is no one selling. It's education and fun, and we feed you all day. A great lunch we have on site, and then we go off site right around the corner to the Capitol Square of Madison, to a wonderful restaurant on the whole top floor overlooking the damn Capitol. And it's an event. That is the part for me, is at the end of the night, watching the interconnectivity of the industry, watching salespeople and managers and vendors and everyone talking and everyone trying to be there. It reminds me why I love the live event scene. I don't love big shows. I don't love things that have multiple days. Guys and gals, second and third day of anything sucks. I don't care if it's a show. I don't care if it's a fucking festival. Second, third day of anything sucks for the most part. So one day event in one place, one room, no decisions to make. All the things I hated about big events, I tried to eliminate when we put on our small event. So if you haven't yet checked it out, please do. We would love to have it. Vendors, dealers, everyone is welcome. So head over to BeingSocialAuto.com to check that out for more details. But again, the live event. Think about last time you were at a live event. Think about how probably your live event life took a serious stall in 2020. I remember going to a baseball game with my dad in Milwaukee. It was me, him, and 5,000 people because of the limitations. It was the last game. They had limitations, and it was me and him and our whole row. And I thought, Dad, this is insane. This is insane. We're at a baseball game like this. And at first, they were playing hockey games in front of no people, right? How weird is that for the athlete in the live event to not get that, where they had to like start piping in noise. So the guys didn't do it. They were just playing, a pickup game. So live events are a thing. They do so much for all of us. So if you're not involved, go out and do them. And if you're doing an automotive one this year, come to Madison, Wisconsin, September 22nd. Thank you guys so much for this time. I appreciate your engagement in the show as always. And we'll do it again next week as we kick off July. And we're going to have some fun doing it. Thanks a lot. Have a great close to your June.